Yes, sir. Once again, here we are checking the chunky chicken, checking the mic, checking, making sure we're good. We're live. Uh, what do we got going today? Let's find out. Good morning. Good morning. Making sure that we are indeed here and that we have some good audio. Anybody here? Can you guys tell me if the audio is good right now? I'm just trying to see to make sure that you guys can listen to me. I like I said have the a new microphone that I'm kind of testing out, so I'm just trying to make sure things are good. So it sounds like we are on. So good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates. I'm just trying to make sure that everyone is indeed here and that we are showing on the Discord here. Just trying to post it up to make sure that people can in fact hear me, and here we are. C3.AI has earnings today, my friends, so it's going to be a good day, I think. Yes, the market is a little wobbly right now. It seems like it's a little bit choppy, but I mean there's room to the downside, right? um, in fact, it is showing some resilience, but it's to be expected. um, Yesterday was, I think, the first 10-15 minutes of the market was extremely volatile. It was a lot of sell-offs going on. I think people were getting margin called for the weekend, and they were just trying to um, balance out a lot of sheets. Monday, Tuesday morning after a long holiday, the news during the weekend hit, and the algos kind of sold off. They're trying to find their footing today, but what do we have? We have kind of a nothing burger at this point. If anything, the VIX is down 3.5% almost, so that's good. Gold is up $36 or 1%. Our Nasdaq is up, 80 basis points. Russell is unchanged. The Russell 2000, and the S&P 500, nothing burger. Dow 30, nothing burger. Job openings are tumbling more than expected. Lackluster hiring. I mean, these are things we've talked about in the past, right? And kind of like gave you guys kind of my my thesis as to why I think that the market uh, is not, it's not where it's supposed to be, and there's a lot of more room to the downside, right? If anything, I think we have yet to see the beginning of the real sell-off. However, there is a lot of opportunity out there, so don't be afraid to sell your cash secure puts out. A couple of months, take some big chunks so that you can protect yourself to the downside. Best case scenario, the market keeps going up. It shows its resilience. The powers that be are going to make it so that it stays frothy and will kick the can down the road, in which case your cash secure puts are going to die worthless and you made money. Best case scenario, or worst case scenario, we have a nasty sell-off. If you've been selling cash secure puts on stocks that have gone down 10, 15, 20%, and they go down another 10, 15%, you get put those shares. Guess what? You just bought stock that you wanted anyway for a lot cheaper than it was. And if there's room to the downside even further, you can sell some more cash secure puts, bring in more money, get more stock cheaper, and average down. If that happens to happen, right? If that's the case. What do we got going here? SJ's in the house, Double D's in the house, saying good mornings. SJ Tavares saying perfecto. Moneymaker Juan is in the house saying we on here. Jude Case in the house saying hi, Savage. Good morning. Jude K is saying volume is good. Thank you. Kilua Dre saying hello, Unk. Jay Gills in the house saying good morning, Savage and all. Kilua Dre saying number 4. Karen, Ken's mom once again in the house. Ken's mom, I hope you're doing great. Good morning. Always be writing in the house as well. So, good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates. Little guy's out here again, and he's just rearing his head and letting us know he is in fact here to play around some more. C3.AI has earnings today, my friends. If you guys know anything about C3.AI in this channel, C3.AI was one of my original babies 3.5 years ago when it went public. I kind of waited. I didn't go in heavy at all. And when it hit the 30s, I went in and I kind of started taking a position, some 27s, I think. And then I sold some cash secure puts, some 25s. I got put those shares. I did some 20s and it kept going down. And I did some 15s and I got all these shares put to me. It finally went to like 10, 11. I bought at market price because I just didn't see it going down any further. It actually stayed up a lot longer than Palantir because Palantir actually went to 7. Um, and then it ran up to like 40s again, right? So I was able to write some cover calls, and I've been playing that ever since. It's a money maker for me, and for a lot of the people that watch me, a lot of people in the Discord. Um, it's taken a little bit of a hit. It's taken it on the chin in the last 2 months, since the CEO did mention that he will be retiring, not because of his choosing, but because he has a disease that is making it harder for him um, to stay focused and to kind of do the everyday, as demanding as it is with the company, right? um, he will put someone at the helm that I believe is going to do the company justice. um, they keep writing and securing contracts, with government entities and with other private companies. They um they are getting sued right now because a lot of people that invested in the company when it was in the $40 area and the $30 area, got their butts handed to them because the stock did take a hit and it's now, at 16, $17. It was down as low as 14 not too long ago. And I was begging people to do $15 cash secure puts, $14 cash secure puts, and some people bought, at market price, and they've seen their cash secure puts shrink because the stock is not going up, and they have averaged down nicely. So at this point, we I think that these numbers we're gonna get today are actually going to show some improvement because, um sorry guys, my nose is itchy, because they actually had a not so stellar last 3 months, and it's they have been pretty transparent as far as the as the guidance and how it seems to have softened. There's a lot of restructuring going on in the company, but at the end of the day, C3.AI is a very good company. Nothing has changed as far as the metrics. Um, Nothing has changed as far as how the company is ran. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of um, the CEO picking someone that he thinks is going to be a great fit for the company, and him taking definitely, like, a back seat for good. And he basically blamed himself, to a degree, because he was not um, up to par whenever he would have meetings. It just seemed that he was not really there. But now we know it's because he had a disease, an autoimmune disease, and so he's on his way out, and the company, um, nothing has changed. The fundamentals are still the same. They still have, 99% of the people that have started with the company are still there. Um, there is no There is no weakness to what the fundamentals are, and there's a great opportunity right now to just add shares. I have actually been buying shares at market price whenever I see a nice little 4 or 5% dip. I have enough, $15 cash secure puts and 17.50 cash secure puts on C3.AI at this moment. I have a ton, and I can't wait to get that stock, in my portfolio and get placed those shares. The company does not have that many shares in existence, and there's a very low float at that available to trade every day, as this company has been shorted. At some point, it was over 30% shorted, and they took the gas off of the pedal for like 1 or 2 days, and it went from 23 to $40 within a week. That's what happens. And am I saying that there's going to be some type of short squeeze going on? That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that the potential for the stock to run is there at all times. Um, and look at what happened with Open Door. You just have to look at what happened with Open Door Technologies. And when a company is shorted, and it the street finds out about it, and we in during that cyclical period, the market does work in cycles, starts turning right over to where the market is. So anyways, that's kind of like, the little synopsis of C3.AI, and how I'm looking forward to them showing actually some legit numbers. I don't think they're going to be as high as they were in the past, but I do think that they have been pretty transparent as to why a lot of um, internet workings have happened the way they have happened, and why um, there has been some weakness thus far. They have just signed. I think they just released a new product like a week ago. This should help. We're not going to start seeing this product until the next quarter earnings, right? But I cannot sugarcoat it either. The stock is where it is. I just think that right now there's big opportunity on C3.AI. And if you want a cheaper option to Palantir, which I do not think should be trading where it is. I own this stock, and I was in it heavily when it was in the $7-8 range. I was telling people to buy Palantir when it was in the $7 to $8 range in this channel. And when it went to 20, I was telling people, write some $25 cash secure puts, write some $20 cash secure puts out to 2027, 2026. And this was like 4, 5, 6, 7 months ago. And so, anyways, I at this point in time, I feel C3.AI is a much better option to Palantir. They have actually taken contracts away from Palantir in the past. It's not that they're a bad company, it's just that they've had a bad stint. But this is an opportunity. That's the way that I see it. Um, you could go to November right now. I'm big on November right now. I always like to stay 2 3 months ahead. And last month I was basically into like October, and now I'm to like November, right? So $15 cash secure puts put you, 1664 away from being in the money, and you could bring 118 bucks per contract if you were to write a $15 cash secure put out to November 21st, right? Um, are you a little more cavalier? You think that the company is going to go up from here, and there's nothing but upside? You can basically buy a 1750 or sell a 1750 cash secure put for $245. Basically, you'll be buying the stock at 15 bucks. I see nothing wrong with that at all. If you do not want to go to November, you want a little more cash because you want a little more secureness, a little more protection, if you will. You could, for $3.10 per contract per share, right? You can sell a 1750 cash secure put out to January, and essentially you're buying this stock for like 14 bucks. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. You know, so if you want to play in the C3.AI playground, I think right now is kind of the time to do so. Um, of course, we have to yet to see um, what these earnings are going to be like, but I would use the IV and its volatility to my advantage and sell some cash secure puts today. Um, I see nothing wrong with that at all. All right, what do we got here? Mr. Lucky is in the house saying Savage. Juan Velasquez in the house saying good morning, everyone. Great to be here, Savage, during the live session. The story of C3.AI is just something else. Just watching on CNBC's CEO seems to be very similar to AI from the point of view that the street doesn't like them, even though they are specifically hitting all cylinders in earnings. They do the same with GME as well. Most likely, it will be a 700 shares of AI, which I don't mind. Yeah, no, you know what, man? If you're assigned shares on because of the cash secure puts that you have on them, I think that's great. If you're up in the 20s, you know, it's okay for you to roll unless you got like $6, $7 per share or $5 per share. But honestly, it's up to you. It's just if let's say for example I had some 1750s that are about to get assigned this week or the next week, um I see nothing wrong moving those 1750s to like October just to get a little more cash. But if I got the shares put into my account, I there's nothing wrong with that at all, man. And then you're now holding on to the stock. Let's say they actually have good earnings and we show some good guidance, and we pop 10-15% you know tomorrow. You can then look at selling some $20 covered calls on C3.AI, or you could do nothing and see what the stock is telling you, right? If it obviously goes up 20%, 15-20%, then you can take advantage of that, and then go out to like October, write some 20s, 2250s. You could write some 25s for January. It's all up to you, my friend. Conversely, let's say that there's weakness, the guidance is low, it's not as expected or weaker than expected, in which case you can then tomorrow, there's going to be a 10% drop or even after hours. I'm not afraid to go in and buy the stock at like $15, $14. I'm just not at all. And I could then again I could go and I could double triple down on my $15 cash secure puts out to January and bring in more cash and then have the stock recover like it always does, and then just and seeing what the market gives me in October or November. So like I'm not afraid of the stock going red on me at all, because I know what it's done in the past. I know what it can do. I know what the company is going, and how it's well managed. It's just unfortunate that there's all these headwinds, when it comes to the company itself, and because the Wall Street has its darlings, right? And the closeness um, that Peter Thiel has to the White House has Palantir getting all the contracts right now. But at some point, people are gonna say, I don't think I want to buy a stock that's trading at 700, times earnings. 700, 800 times earnings just makes no sense. Like, Palantir is trading as if the stock was worth 400, $500 already. That just makes no sense. But it is what it is, right? So people want to pay a premium to hold a stock, they can. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I wish it was C3.AI too, but again, I have Palantir. I got covered calls on it, and I'm making money that way. As well as I'm looking at the stock go up, but even I can tell you that the stock, it's not worth what it's at right now. The stock is maybe 60, $70 at best. That's maybe. All right, but not 140, 150, $160. It just doesn't belong there. But again, people are gonna do whatever people want to do with their money, right? So it's all good. It is all good. So my friends, good morning. Good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates. It is I, the Savage of Wall Street, here once again. Um, we're not gonna be around for like a long time. I'm sorry, today at least. I'm not gonna be here for the usual 2 hours, right? I'm probably gonna hit the road in the next, 20 minutes to half an hour. But I just wanted to come in and kind of, talk to people, see what you guys are up to. Have you guys written anything today? Myself today, I haven't written anything. No covered calls, no cash secure puts. I did that yesterday. And so right now I'm kind of folding my arms, and I'm seeing what the jobs report is going to show on Friday. Uh, I think that the jobs are probably going to be. I think they're really bad, but I think that the executive branch is going to try to stifle them in some way, uh, because they are so bad, and they're going to say that those numbers are wrong, obviously, and the street is just going to not like it. They're going to say, why are you meddling with jobs? I mean, everybody knows that unemployment is as high as it was during the pandemic right now, and there's nothing that you can say, or try to sugarcoat it. It's just, it is what it is. So I think there's more room to the downside, right? But it's yet to be seen. What do we know today? Well, we know for a fact SoFi is 24.77 right now. That's where it's trading at. I told people when SoFi was in the $26, 26.50 area to write some covered calls on it, right? So if you would have written covered calls on SoFi right now, you'd be sitting pretty. If you did, you're laughing from ear to ear, because you know what? The stock's 24.70 something right now. And it's $20 or $2 cheaper than it was last week. You'd be making money, right? C3.AI is 1662 right now. Some 1750 cash secure puts out to January, or even 2027. Not a terrible thing at all. Not a terrible thing at all. You could go to January 2027, sell some 1750s, and ask for $5 right now. $5. So you essentially are on the hook for the stock at 12.50 in 2027. This stock goes to $30 a share in the next year and a half. Those are worthless. Those are worthless, and you get to keep your money. Okay. Let's say the stock is trading at $16 for whatever reasons in 2027, $17. You get those shares, but guess what? You got paid $5 to buy those shares where they are, so you made money. Okay. Um, Rivian is actually up 7.5% today, which I'm happy to see. I wrote some $15 cover calls um, yesterday, and I wish I would have waited to today, but that's fine, because I'm gonna wait until November, see where Rivian is at, and if I roll those 15s to like 20s, in like June 2026 or something, I think I'm fine. Um, my average is like $10, so I'm totally okay with that. But again, Rivian has a strong R2 SUV prospects and positive analyst support amid solid technical momentum at this point. All right, so I've been telling you guys, man, if you guys wanted an alternate to Tesla, Rivian is 1488. It's like 1/5 of what Tesla's trading at this point. And there's a lot of upside to it. The battery lasts $450 per 450 hours per charge. You can literally go, from where I'm at in the Bay Area to Reno, and then charge over there and come back. One charge. That's a big deal, and so I think that the Rivian S1 is probably 800 to 850 horsepower. So there's a lot of torque there. They're going after the F-150 crowd, Rivian is. And so there is a lot of potential and a lot of upside when it comes to Rivian Automotive, right? Their ticker is RIVN, and it was hovering in the 11 to $12 land for a while, just consolidating, right? And I was telling people, write some 11s, so write some $12 cash secure puts. Right now you'll be laughing from ear to ear. I'm gonna let them die worthless or get my shares assigned because I just at this point I'm trying to load up as many Rivian shares under $20 as I can. Anything under $20 on Rivian is a gift at this point. So if you're looking for an alternate to Tesla, I think this will be it. Now, I did have another alternate to Tesla. It was Lucid Motors, but as we know, Lucid um, had a reverse split, and so I sold my shares last week. Now I have to wait 30 days, 31 days, and then I'm going to go back in, see where Lucid is at, and perhaps start some more positions. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. There's a lot less shares in existence now, so I think that there's now going to be a potential of a short squeeze of some sort because this company is also heavily shorted. Now, I'm very curious to see as to how the reverse split is going to affect the short. So I'm giving myself a month, month and a half to see how it behaves, and then I may go back in on some type of cash secured puts. But at this point, like I said, I sold my shares last week, and I took a loss, um, and I use that as some type of tax loss harvesting. So that's going to offset a lot of capital gains that I had already. I've done pretty well this year, so at this point, wherever I see opportunity to pivot, I'm going to cut my losses, take the cash, and then kind of sit on it on some type of cash secure puts, right? Especially long cash secure puts, and I want to see what Lucid does, how it behaves. At this point, it's down 1.5% for the day, and very curious to see how it does. All right, my SOXS Direction Daily Semiconductor Leveraged Bear Fund is up 3.5% right now at 760. I think it's going to go above 10. So I'm not selling any shares just yet. I have 800 shares, and so if it gets to 10, $11, I may start trimming. But I think I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. Nvidia, it's not supposed to be where it is right now. So this is kind of pegged to Nvidia, SMCI, and so AMD. Let's see what happens. Give me another 2 3 weeks. I think September is going to be uh, one of those months that it's actually the bleeding is gonna be it's gonna be slow and constant. And I think that there's gonna be a couple of days where we're gonna kind of uptick, and then people are gonna like give us a breathe, like a sigh of relief, right? And then boom, another cluster of bad news is going to hit, and the stock is going to go down again. I mean, the stock market, right? So, how much are we going to go? I don't know, man. If the stock market went down 5%, 10%, it would not be a bad thing. I think at this point, people are taking profit, but yet, the big seven, big eight companies, they're still near 52-week highs. There's still some trimming that needs to happen there, and people are just they're really hard headed on the fact that this market has no weakness. Um, this market is resilient, and they're gonna Try to keep it here as long as possible. Retail usually gets caught holding the bag, so that's why I'm being, extremely careful in these conditions. Um, Not afraid of the upside whatsoever, but in not fearing the downside at all. Wherever I see opportunity, I'm going to go. Um, but I mean, I just think we're frothy. Just look at the number of IPOs that are happening right now, right? Whenever you see a ridiculous number of IPOs launching, it's that tells you right then and there, like people are thinking this is the time because it's this market is ripe for IPOs, right? And look at what's happening to the IPOs. Usually, IPOs used to launch and companies go public, and the stock would go to 200, $300. It'll take a few weeks, and then people start trimming, right, taking profits. Now, within a day or two, the stocks are going to like 150 bucks, and boom, the next day or 2 days later, they're like at 70, 60. So, I mean, I people are taking money off the table a lot sooner now. I think that mega caps still have not taken a real hit. I mean, look at Google. Google is like a 52-week highs right now, right? And then they just got some good news. Some judge basically said that they don't have to they don't have to pay basically for having Google be like a search engine and Samsung phones or whatnot. It's not like an unfair business practice to have Google be kind of like the search engine on Samsung phones. Um, and so I'm looking to see what happens with that. Um, it, I think that right now the sector that has a lot of potential is cybersecurity, which is why I'm looking at Sentinel One. It's kind of like it's one of those stocks that I'm very curious to see how it behaves. It was just up because they have really good earnings. They crushed on every metric, and now it went down because the overall market right went down. So on sympathy with the overall market, they ended up going downwards. The stock is sitting at 1790. I see absolutely nothing wrong um, with going in and selling some October 17th um, $17 cash secure puts. Get $60 for it. Get 60 cents per share. Nothing wrong with that at all. Basically, dare the market to give you these shares at like 1640. Not a bad entry. You could have entered last week or the week before when it was at 15. I was telling people right now, man, this company is really good. It's 15 bucks. Sell some $15, $16 cash secure puts out to like October. And some people I guess bought and they're laughing right now, and some people didn't, and that's okay. That's totally okay. This is not financial advice. This is just me telling you this is where I'm trading, this is how I'm trading, this is where the stocks are at, and you make your own decision. you know Savage is not your dad, baby. You do whatever you want with your money. All right. CKT's in the house. Charlize in the house saying, "Good morning, Savage." Juan Velasquez saying, "Palantir is the darling of Wall Street." You're right. And the crappy thing is, their earnings are only about 35 cents. It just reminds me of the Amazon back in the days. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm there with you, man. But you know what? That's Peter Thiel is best friends with JD Vance, and he's got the president on speed dial, and these guys are giving him all the contracts. I'm sure there's no malfeasance there. I'm sure he's not giving any type of kickback to them at all. I'm sure they don't own Palantir on their portfolios. CKT in the house saying, "Good morning, all." Juan Velasquez saying, "So far he's making more money than Palantir, but again, they are both different animals. They are. One is AI, and um, one is cybersecurity. One is like trying to become basically um, what was that company in Predator? Cybernet. They're basically Cybernet, man. And then the other one is a bank. I mean, that's the difference. Karen D saying, "Good morning, everyone's." SJ is saying, "Savage, do you buy option leaps or do you strictly sell options?" So okay, this is the deal. I am very conservative in my approach. As I am extremely conservative with the people that are watching me. I don't want people to buy calls because there's always the risk of a downside, right? Especially during 52-week highs and when the market is at all-time highs. And I don't want you guys holding the bag. If you were to say, buy, I don't know, 10 SoFi would be a bad example because SoFi is actually just on its way to 50. But say for example, Nvidia, right? Like I wouldn't tell somebody to go buy Nvidia right now just because I see some risk. I see um potential to the downside and I see it going to like 100, $120. So I don't, I wouldn't say go and sell cash secure puts on Nvidia. Or I wouldn't say buy a call. Like I wouldn't have you buy a $200 call on Nvidia out to like 2027, right? Because it's too expensive. And because the downside, right, is that AI takes a hit. And let's say we hit some type of headwinds, right? For the next year. And then the market recovers, then Nvidia recovers. Let's say Nvidia goes down to like $120, right? So then those $200 calls will be worth like 50% less, right? And then like a year and a half, like a year happens, 8 to 10 months, and then it starts recovering, right? It goes to 150. Well, those 200s, have that much less time on the contract, so like that they would shrink. So even if Nvidia was to go to like 170, 180, they would still be a lot less than when they were, you know, 8 months ago, 6 months ago, because that time has been eaten away. So they're not going to be as valuable. So I feel a lot more comfortable telling people on stock that takes a hit. For example, when Nvidia went to like $100, $90, I was banging the freaking drums telling people sell some $90 cash secure puts out to 2027. That right there should have been, a cue to maybe say buy some 120s out to 2027. Right now, those would be massively up, right? When Neo went to like $3 in something a share. I literally told people I had over 150 calls that I bought, and then they went down, and I averaged down, right? And I loaded when they were like 15 cents a piece, 20 cents a piece. And then it just popped. So I sold, for like 50 cents when it recovered. So I made money. Um, and I was protected to the downside because the company was not at 52-week highs. There's only so much. It was actually a 52-week lows, and it only has so much room to go down, right? Because it's already gone down massively. So I say buy calls, I'm not endorsing this, but if I was to buy calls on a stock, it would be on a stock that is the 52-week lows, because the IV is not high at all, right? For example, Rivian, the $20 calls for 2027 were like $1, 80 cents, like a couple of weeks back. That would have been a good time. Right now they are up, right? But um, the IV is so low. Um, Let me see here. Okay, Sentinel One, for example, right? Like Sentinel One right now is sitting at 17.94, almost $18 a share. If I was to buy calls, right, I would look at the $25 call expiring January 2027. That's going for like 210 on 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 Sentinel One, just because Sentinel One is closer to a 52-week low than it is a 52-week high. and also because the IV is a lot lower, a lot lower. Um, your chance for profit is like in the 90s, like 82% actually. And the implied volatility, the IV is like in the 40s. If you're in the 30s and 40s, I think those are good numbers to go in. But I wouldn't, I mean, I don't endorse. I want you to get the shares because it's a good company and because you could write cover calls against it instead of paying money for calls. You're making money for calls and you're selling 2-3 months out, right? So you're bringing in cash flow that way. But if I was to buy a call on the company, $25 strikes on Sentinel One that are worth like 210. That's not terrible. That would not be a terrible thing. Not that I'm endorsing it, but I don't know if I make any sense. Um, yeah, but I do buy leaps. I don't endorse it because I want you guys to like. I'm very very conservative when it comes to telling people, where I'm at when it comes to leaps, and so I don't want you guys to do what I do, and because I'm okay with the risk, right? I'm okay losing that money, and I don't want people to lose money. I want people to make money, you know. Beach Boy is in the house saying, "Hey, Savage." So, yeah, buddy, how you doing? Um, let's see here. Cindy B saying, "Hey, Savage." Cindy B saying, "Good day to sell puts on Rocket Lab." Is Rocket Lab down over 55%? Savage, I'm on Channel One as well. And looking for $19 covered calls October 17th, paying 63 cents. Is this a good choice? I got the shares at 16, and then again, I have written cash cure puts. Yeah, no, if you got the shares at 16, you're selling for 19, right? You're making $300. So that's over, around 20% of what your investment was, right? And then you're getting 63 cents. So essentially selling at 1963. So you're selling for almost $4. That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all. You could sell some 20s for January and bring in even more money. Nothing wrong with that. Never mind, you are going over S now. Then again, those numbers they put a few days ago, I think they are going up next quarter. I think so too. I think so too. Anyways, guys, I want to hit the road because I have to go turn in some paperwork to my kids' school, and I just want to make sure that things get done. He got his shots yesterday, poor kid, and he didn't cry. I'm proud of him. So, but I'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., same place, same time. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you. Juan Velasquez, Beach Boys, Cindy B, SJ Tavera, CKT. Always be writing. Charlie, Juan Velasquez, Kent's mom, Jay Gill, Kalua Dre, Jude K, Moneymaker Juan, Double D. You guys already know, man. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys. Remember, let's see how the opportunity rears its head. Let's see where there's opportunity right now. Don't be afraid to fold your arms. Short week, let that data decay. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Later, knuckleheads.